My name is Jesse Dollemore, and I'm sitting in for David Pakman while he is out. Donald Trump's campaign kicked off in earnest, it seems, this weekend. He was in New Hampshire and South Carolina, and a lot of what you would expect from Donald Trump took place in both events. What it shows me really is that it's going to be even crazier this year than in 2016 or in 2020, because his entire strategy has changed surrounding campaign events. So it appears. They're far more small and intimate. Some would say that it's just to mix things up, but I think any observer with any acumen or understanding of politics, or Donald Trump for that matter, is really going to understand it as a diminished support from people in the party. People are tired of the games and the tricks and the over-the-top nonsense. But rather than change fundamentally how he acts and what he does, it's a tertiary change. It's just a surface level difference in how he's running things. Because all of the craziness, all of the loopiness, all of the lies, all of the insanity is still there. In his New Hampshire speech, he made this bold claim about how if he were president, or if he becomes president, he will end this Ukraine thing in 24 hours. Watch this.
This guy's going to be in world, remember Crooked Hillary? He's going to cause a war in his first week in office because they think that's my personality type. It's actually the opposite. My personality kept us out of war. And I told you before, would have never happened with Russia, would have never gone in, Putin would have never, ever gone in. And even now, I could solve that in 24 hours. It's so horrible what happened. I mean, those cities are demolished now. The people, I'll bet you have millions. It could be millions of people. How can you know, they bomb a city to the ground. These big buildings come tumbling down. They say 2 people were injured. Not 2 people. They lie. I mean, they lie. But if I were president, you would have 0 chance that that war would have happened.
That is telling and quite interesting, considering the fact that just about a year ago, February 2022, Donald Trump was on the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton show. They all went down to Mar-a-Lago to have a good time on their podcast. And he said all kinds of glowing things about Vladimir Putin. He called him genius. He called him savvy. He called it wonderful. Insinuated he was a peacekeeper. Remember this, keep in mind what you just watched with him saying he would solve this problem in Ukraine, remembering a look back to 1 year ago with all of the things that he said about Ukraine and Vladimir Putin.
I've never seen anything like it. I don't think our country has ever been so low. You could take the 5 worst presidents in the history of our country and put them together. I don't think they've done the damage that this administration has done.
Mr. President, in the last 24 hours, we know Russia has said that they are recognizing 2 breakaway regions of Ukraine. And now this White House is stating that this is an invasion. That's a strong word. What went wrong here? What has the current occupant of the Oval Office done that he could have done differently?
Well, what went wrong was a rigged election. And what went wrong is a candidate that shouldn't be there and a man that has no concept of what he's doing. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen and I said, this is genius. Putin declares a big portion of the Ukraine. Putin declares it as independent. Oh, that's wonderful. So Putin is now saying it's independent, a large section of Ukraine. I said, how smart is that? And he's going to go in and be a peacekeeper. That's the strongest peace force. We could use that on our southern border. That's the strongest peace force I've ever seen. There were more army tanks than I've ever seen. They're going to keep peace all right. No, but think of it. Here's a guy who's very savvy. I know him very well, very, very well. By the way, this never would have happened with us. Had I been in office, not even thinkable. This would never have happened. But here's a guy that says, I'm going to declare a big portion of Ukraine independent. He used the word independent. And we're going to go out and we're going to go in and we're going to help keep peace. You got to say that's pretty savvy. And you know what the response was from Biden? There was no response.
He calls him a genius. It's wonderful what took place. How smart is that? Calls him a peacekeeper and the strongest peace force. Does that sound like a man who's going to run in as president of the United States and solve the Ukraine problem in 24 hours? This coming from the same guy who was going to have infrastructure week after week after week after week, and it never got done until Joe Biden took office. This coming from the guy who's going to build the wall. That everything was just about to happen. Never getting anything done other than massive unpaid for tax cuts that contributed to him adding 25% or taking responsibility for, not taking responsibility for, but being responsible for 25% or so of our total overall national debt inside of 4 years. The other part, this little clip I want to share, is him talking about how he invented the word caravan, and he tells his rich friends who aren't citizens, who want to be citizens, that what they need to do is just cross the border and then they'll just magically be declared citizens, I guess, by the federal government. Watch this astounding misunderstanding or just lies being told by Donald Trump to give you a flavor for what's to come in this campaign cycle.
And I came up with the name Caravan because we had caravans of 15, 20,000 people pouring in. Not when I'll tell you what, we had it stopped pretty early. But now if you look at these caravans, these are massive, massive caravans, and they have no idea who these people are coming into our country. They're walking in unabated. There is nothing, that nobody's asking them about health. Or it's hard to get in. I have so many people, can you help me become a citizen? I say, yeah, go to the southern border, just walk across the line. You know, I have a guy, rich guy, wants to become a citizen. And he's gone through everything. He's gone to school to study and this and this and that. He's been working for 11 years. He hasn't been able to pull it off, okay? And I finally said to him, you know, you've been working so hard. Why don't you just go down to Mexico and sort of start walking across our border? They'll take you gladly. They won't even talk to you. Now, how ridiculous it is.
Like lots that Donald Trump does and says, it starts off as kind of a joke, and then his free association leads him to tell a story that is almost certainly untrue, but with a serious tone and tenor to it. He's not telling it like it's a joke. He got serious there for a moment. He's telling people that he believes the way to do it, as though we're just issuing citizenship to anyone who crosses the southern border. The issue of immigration in this country is such a murky topic because of the lies that are told by the right, because of the lies and the abject, just white nationalism that has infected a massive swath of our country. They talk about it like it's an invasion. They talk about it like there's an impending war that's going to take place. It gets the psychos in the Republican Party whipped up into a frenzy. And all that does is exacerbate the problem because they're not there to solve it. There's no evidence whatsoever that Kevin McCarthy or anyone in leadership in the Republican Party in the House of Representatives wants to solve the problem. They want it to continue to be a political football. They want it to continue to make hay for them, be a campaign slogan. It's a prop to them. They're not there to solve problems. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse as time goes on.
Email services by big tech companies scan every single email you send and receive. Emails from your doctor, your spouse. That's why you get those creepy ads a few minutes later. And other companies collect your data every time you open an email from them. It's a huge mess. All of this information gets sold around. They can piece together where you've been, who you know, what you like, and it's out there forever. That's why I recommend StartMail. StartMail never collects data from your emails. It blocks the trackers embedded in the emails that you receive. StartMail encrypts every email you send, protecting it from prying eyes, even the government. StartMail never shows you ads. And unlike other services, when you delete an email, it's gone forever. And I love this part. You can create unlimited email aliases. So you don't have to give companies your real email address, which can really cut down on spam. You can seamlessly migrate your emails and contacts from Gmail, Outlook, Yahoo, and others. It's really easy. Start taking your privacy seriously by signing up for StartMail. You'll get 50% off your first year subscription. Go to startmail.com/Pacman. The link is down below.